Okay, let's look at the next one. All right, we've got some more data here. U.S. Department of Human Services interested in smoking rates for U.S. teenagers. And I can see the scattergram right here. And I can observe that a linear model is appropriate because it looks like it's roughly going to follow that linear pattern of decreasing forever at a constant rate. Why would regression be the best way to find the model? Regression is the best way because it's going to center all the data. This is not exactly linear. Regression is always the best choice for approximate data. So regression will use all of the data, not just 2 points. Okay, let's find the regression model. To find the regression model, I need to first input all this data into my calculator. So I'm working with years since 2000. So years since 2000, we're going to have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Let's grab our calculator and enter this data. When I enter regression data, I use the Stat menu. Start by editing. Clear your previous data set. Go up, hit clear, hit enter. Same thing for the other one. Up, clear, enter. Now we want to enter the data. In the first column, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. In the second column, 13.0, 12.2, 11.9, 10.8, 10.4, 9.8, and 9.1. Once your data is in, you're ready to calculate your regression. So we're going to hit the Stat menu, go over to Calculate, and choose Linear Regression. I'm going to do one more thing here. I'm going to go down to Store Regression Equation. Store Regression Equation, I'm going to hit vars, go over to yvars, select 1 for function, and I'm going to pick y1. What this is going to do is put the equation, not only calculate the equation, but already put it in my y equals menu in the slot for y1. So let's hit calculate, and here's the regression equation. It's giving me the value of a and b. A is the slope, it's going to go in this coefficient of the variable, and b is the intercept value. So my regression equation is p equals f of t. And the equation was negative 0.64, I'm going to use 2 decimal places here, times t plus 14.24. Alright, let's look at the next page. I want to use the regression model to find f of 18 by hand. So f of 18 by hand would be, take negative 0.64 times 18 plus 14.24. Now when they say by hand, they don't literally mean multiply this out by hand. You're still going to use your calculator. I'll show you the difference between by hand and by calculator in a second. Let's go ahead and get this value. Negative 0.64 times 18 plus 14.24. That value is 2.72. What does it mean in this situation? This 18 is 18 years since 2000. So we have in 2018, 2.72% of teens have smoked in the last month. Okay, the difference between doing this by hand and by calculator. I can do this on calculator if the equation is already in your y equals menu, which it is because I put that there in my regression. If not, you can type it in yourself. What you can do then is go back to the home screen. Remember how to get to that vars menu. You can either go to vars, yvars, function, y1. That's one way to get that y1 right there. y1 is a function, so if I use function notation, y1 of 18 is going to plug 18 into my function, and I get 2.7. Notice that my value here is a slightly different because it has used the exact values. Let's go ahead and type our values so that we have the same rounding errors that we have when we did it by hand. So negative 0.64x plus 14.24. Okay, go back to your home screen. Notice I put that in y2. So if I go over to yvars function and select y2, if I try y2 of 18, that'll have the same rounding errors as I had it when I did it by hand. You can compare the difference. This one's the exact value, and the 2.72 has a bit of error to it because of the rounding. Okay. So this would be doing it by calculator as opposed to doing it by hand, as opposed to plugging it into the equation. Another way to get to y1 and y2 instead of going through the vars menu is to hit alpha, then trace. It'll bring up this menu of y1, y2. So I can hit y1 that way and do the y1 of 18. Now these tricks right here only work for plugging a value into a function. They're not going to help us when I'm trying to plug a value equal to the function. So let's do this one by hand. I'll show you another trick for doing that on the calculator. So 6 equals negative 0.64t plus 14.24. We need to subtract our 14.24 from both sides. So I've got 6 minus 14.24. That's negative 8.24 equals the 0.64t, negative 0.64t. We want to divide both sides by negative 0.64 to get our t value. So we get a t value of 12.88. These are years since 2000, so this means that in, let's see, 12.88 years since 2000 is going to be 2012 still. I don't round it to 13 because 2012 hasn't ended yet. We're still 8/10 of the way through, so it's still in 2012. 6% of teens admit to smoking in the past month. So how do I do that in my calculator? In my calculator, I've already got the equation in y1. Let's go ahead and actually clear out the exact and just use the approximate equation so that we'll have the exact same answer up here. And I want to find out when this equation is equal to 6. So I'm going to graph 6 separately. And since the data is in, let's do a zoom stat to get a good window on the data. Okay. And let's check out the actual values in that window right now. So the window is going from 1 to 8 on x and 8 to 13 on y. We're trying to find out when this is equal to 6, and so 6 isn't even showing up. It's not low enough. So we better lower this down below 6. I'm going to make it 4. At the same time, since I know the x answer was 12.8, it wouldn't show up if I had it only at 8. So let's go ahead and make this bigger, so make this like 15. Okay, that's where 6 is. There's my curve. What I'm trying to find out is when the equation is equal to 6, and you can see that right here on the graph. So when they're equal, second calculate, they're going to intersect, which is option 5. So if I intersect these two lines, just hitting enter on first curve and second curve, and then guess, move the cursor over towards where the intersection is, and hit enter when it gets close. 12.875, and that's what we had as well, but we rounded to 12.88. Part F, using the regression model, find the p-intercept by hand. The p-intercept is f of 0, so it's negative 0.64 times 0, plus our 14.24. It's 14.24. So the p-intercept is the ordered pair, 0, 14.24. What does it mean? It means that in our starting year, 2000, 14.24% of teens smoke. Let's go on to the next page. Find the t-intercept. So the t-intercept means solve for t. The 0 is going to be plugged in for p this time. So to solve for t, I'm going to add the 0.64t to the other side. So we'll have 0.64t equals 14.24. We'll divide both sides by 0.64 to solve for t. So we need to take 14.24 divided by 0.64. We get a t-intercept of 22.25. What does that mean? means in the year 22 years since 2000, so in the year 2022, what happened? Remember that we have a p-value of 0, so that means that 0% of teens report to smoke. For what models of T will model breakdown occur? I know that I can't have less than 0% of teens smoking, so for any value of T larger than 22, since 22 caused a 0%, we're going to have model breakdown. A value of 23, for example, would give us a negative prediction. So for T values greater than 22.25, the percent value will be negative. This doesn't make sense. This is model breakdown. And that's the end of the section.